Ladies and gentlemen, Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is down about 1% there on the S&P. We did see NASDAQ get hit harder. You can see on the NASDAQ is down about 2%. Russell 2000 about 0.7%. I think the semiconductor coming up here. Wow, semiconductor got hit here 3%, but obviously NASDAQ and semiconductor produce a huge gains this year. So banks not so much, about 0.3 there. So let's check out what the market is doing, trying to figure out what we can expect going into remainder of this week here. So it looks like S&P, we did see a gap up. So that's where it closed yesterday. We gapped up slightly. And then as soon as we gapped up, it looks like we tanked on the first hour. Tankage continued second, third, fourth, pretty much all throughout the day. It was down day. And then it came down. You can see here, there was a gap. And is no coincidence. We stopped there. We slowed down there. We trying to slow down a little bit on my short-term moving average. That didn't work. It looks like, we've flushed through my short-term moving average. And then it looks like on the last hour, bulls trying to push it up, but that short-term moving average is no longer supporting the buyers. You can see my short-term moving average supporting bulls, supporting bulls, supporting bulls, and also now becoming a resistance here. That's why the last hour we saw a little bit of ramp, and then it pulled back down with my short-term moving average declining there. So that right there was my short-term moving average was. We didn't see a bounce. With that, that short-term moving average is now supporting the bears. So, and you can see the gap. This gap right here just got filled. And with that, that level is currently acting as support. Not to mention we got the rising pivot in that vicinity, rising support also. So this is a kind of a pretty decent support level. So let's kind of zoom out here. So I want to, at this point, I think with my short-term moving average is declining and price is trading below. Let's kind of check out, quick track record of that when that happens. So last couple times when we saw that, this is right here. We saw that short-term moving average declining. And we did see couple days of a little bit of fluctuation sideways. There was another incident where you see that short-term moving average is declining, price gotten below it, and then we briefly came down but gotten right back up next day. So with that, I think on the short term, I think the micro term, let's give it micro term kind of a neutral to bearish, because we did see some micro term, basically just looking at today's price action, we did see some micro term downturn today, and the price is also staying below my short-term moving average. So I want to give it neutral to bearish in the micro term. Short term, I want to give it neutral, maybe to bullish at this point, but more to the neutral side, because we are currently holding this support without any kind of evidence of a strong bounce yet. We just pretty much saw the high wave spinning top. That means it's undecided. So we slowed down. Basically, this gap right here, that gap got filled, coinciding with the rising pivot, right? Resistance, 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 support, 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 and we got this rising uptrend support as well. So for now, it's holding. But we can't say for sure it's going to hold or not, or we're going to continue to come down, right? Best case scenario for the bears is gapping it down, because you do not want to have buyers hang around right on this support level, especially we just got that gap filled. If we see any kind of gap up tomorrow above my short-term moving average, right, which is 360, let's call it 368, any kind of gap up or any kind of like a first 2 hours of move, we see a first hour move, something like this, and a second hour, so that next 2 hours will be important tomorrow morning. So let's say tomorrow morning we see 2 hours bullish turn and we stay above my short-term moving average like that, and you start to see my short-term moving average curling up. And if you're wondering what my short-term moving average setting is, check the description box below. And if we see that 2 hours. So we want to see market moving higher and then staying up above my short-term moving average first 2 hours. If we see that, we may see something like this kind of a rally here. If we start to stay below it though, let's say there's a chance where this thing kind of goes up in intraday, and then after like second and third hour, we see this long, lower upper wick and small body with that upper wick kind of like exposed, that's gonna come back down. So that's what you wanna look for tomorrow, first 2 hours. Obviously, just because we're at the support level, I'm gonna say this again, bears, best case scenario, bring it down as quickly as possible. Because remember, we just talked about this on the last night's video. Bears don't like consolidations, because if you let buyers consolidate, it's a losing game for the bears, right? Just because we're still in an uptrend. This is what happens if the bears let the buyers kind of hang around for a couple days, especially in near that support level. We got the rising pivot, uptrend support, right? You let buyers hang around, they're gonna bound to gap it up. So what bears need to do, right? You wanna see some downside move here, bears need to gap it down, or at least see first hours of tankage again tomorrow, continuing like this. And then challenge this gap, break below this rising pivot, nullify this completely, and then hopefully fill this entire gap here that we have at 362. Keep in mind, my midterm moving average is residing in that vicinity. It's what my midterm moving average is doing is trying to guard that area. So we have the gap area, which is going to be support, and we have my midterm moving average, which is support. Last time we saw moving average coming up, hit that level, we did see this market go from 355 to 371. So it does have a pretty impressive resume. Last time we saw anything, my midterm moving average here, once we clear above my midterm moving average here, this was 338. And ever since then, this market kept rallying for a month or so. So this moving average is important, that midterm moving average. Again, description box below, you know which moving average it is. And again, the gap area here, 364, 361 is all going to act as support in that vicinity. So if bears want to see any kind of momentum to the downside, they must break below this rising support and that rising pivot. Again, you let the buyers hang around, you're going to see some move to the upside. So bears, as quickly as possible, bring it down. Remember, that's how bears like to operate. They don't have any patience. They don't want to consolidate. They don't want to wait around. They want to bring it down as fast as possible. And then we can probably come down to 364, at least retest my midterm moving average there. Let's check out that oscillator. So we did throw that bearish divergence, right? Early this morning. So you can see we saw a cross actually yesterday, and then we didn't see that oscillator going all the way back up. Instead, we failed right there, and that became bearish divergence, and with that, market continued to move to the downside, and we actually broke below oscillator support. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and so it looks like we're back at here now, right? So what bears want to do, like we talked about here, it wants to continue to bring it down. Remember, we've been talking about how this, what bears have not been able to bring the oscillator all the way down, right? We're talking all the way down here, the bottom of its span. Bulls been doing this, bring it all the way up, right? Pushing it as much as they can, the buyers can, but the sellers weren't able to do that. That's why you can see there's a room here, not able to bring it down, room here, not able to bring it down, room here, not able to bring it down. Right now we're hanging around here. Bears want to bring it down all the way. If we do see something like that, it's going to come back down on 363, 360 area, maybe even fill this gap, retest my midterm moving average, and we'll have to go and re-examine the situation tomorrow. I'll come back for you guys. Enjoy your evening, and good luck trading tomorrow.